Wake up!
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Married to Film. I'm Ralph, and this is Shamanda.
Hey.
Right now, we're at Lost Explained Part 5. This one's called The Numbers. So we're going to get real in-depth with the numbers. Maybe, I know they're going to talk about how Jacob had the lighthouse and had the numbers associated to the names and that cave, too, they went to. So let's go ahead and get into it.
Arthur C. Clarke once wrote that magic is just science that we don't understand yet. The numbers are the science that explain the magic. Ever since Season 1, the numbers have been a fascinating construct of Lost. They appear in multiple places across the show in both background detail and in the plot-related foreground. Most notably, they appear on the hatch and are used as the code for the computer that saves the world. But they are really introduced as a notable element in Hurley's first flashback story. He uses the numbers he heard from a fellow institution patient to play and win the lottery, which changes the course of his life. More importantly, it leads him to the island, just like many others before him. So, what exactly are the numbers? What do they mean, and why do they appear everywhere?
Let's get into it.
The numbers are ultimately a symbol for predestination. They were used by a mathematician Enzo Valenzetti in the 1960s in a mathematical equation. This Valenzetti equation aimed to predict the end of humanity, and the numbers formed its numerical constants. What Valenzetti had really discovered was a key to understanding fate itself. The numbers are proof that there is a quote-unquote God in the machine, or a design to existence. All of the events of Lost occur as the result of a time loop that must be fulfilled by our main characters or else risk the end of the world. The island has to ensure that these characters go back in time to cause the events in the past to happen, such as the incident, because this causality cannot be unwritten. It also means that everything that happens on and off the island throughout history must go towards fulfilling this destiny. So all of the weird coincidences, in which people cross paths. All of the strange events and life-altering trajectories that happen to our castaways throughout their lives. All of it was in service of getting them aboard Oceanic 815. To have them crash on the island and traveling back in time. The numbers, therefore, are simply the equation that identifies this formula to fate. They pop up everywhere to remind us that everything happens for a reason. The source flows out to the world and leaves behind a kind of numerical signature everywhere it goes. Think of the numbers like the source code in the Matrix, a recurring numerical pattern that helps to prove that reality is a construct to some extent. That there is an architect, a prime mover. The numbers are also embodied by Jacob's surviving candidates in Season 6. It was by design that candidates 4, 8, 15, 16, 23 and 42 would be the last remaining agents of change in the endgame. The formula does allow for variables sometimes, such as Kate, who saved Flock a bullet in the end. In summary, the numbers are a mathematical peek behind the curtain at how the source, aka fate, works in terms of mathematical calculation. It is simply science being used to explain faith. Thank you for watching. Future videos will be forthcoming on other mysteries in the show. Until then, stay lost.
Alright. That one was regarding the numbers. Man, I had it in my head, and now I lost it. It said there's an equation to do for something. Now I can't remember what I was thinking.
Okay, so this one was called Numbers. Thought it was going to give us a little bit more explanation as to why they were relatable to the characters. They did, but very vaguely. They said that the numbers were, they didn't say they were given to these people, but this is supposed to, mathematician somewhere, somehow, came up with these variables and these numbers that ultimately meant the end of humanity. So these numbers came in this format, in this particular order, because of the equations they came up with.
Okay.
They mentioned prime mover. These are some of the things that I wrote down because I feel like it was important to write it down. They mentioned prime mover, and then the last remaining variables were the candidates. They were the variables that meant the most in all of this. Faraday trying to do what he was doing. Desmond being the exception to the variables because he wasn't a candidate. And how he was supposed to help get everything going. It had nothing to do with, it was supposed to be keeping the man in black from leaving the island. Mm-hmm. So we learned that one in part 1, I think, part one or two, when they were talking about Desmond and how his consciousness was always moving. Okay, so for this one, it was just specifically just the numbers, and how Hurley had the numbers from the beginning, and how it always showed up in the background. They were showing speedometers and all kinds of stuff. Maybe we didn't catch it. We probably did. I'm pretty sure, because we was looking for the numbers after they said the numbers.
Y'all told us.
Yeah, we was looking like, oh my God,
42 degrees. See?
Oh yeah. All right, then here we go. 4 years and 4 scores and all that kind of stuff.
Like what was it? A soccer team that was in the airport as he was.
The numbers. Yeah, everybody had. The 5 or 6 people it was 6 numbers, right? Mm-hmm. The 6 people who were on the soccer team, they all had on the numbers in the background. That was their numbers in the back. I mean, on the back of their uniform. So I mean, it did give a lot of explanation of it. But to me, I'm still trying to figure out, why did they have those numbers? Like, why was it assigned to these particular people? Mm-hmm. That's the part that I want to get to. Okay. And I don't know if it's ever going to be explained, because they explained it on this one, but I don't think we're ever going to find out why, like, Saeed had 16 or, you know, Jackie had 23. Yeah, I want to know why their numbers, why they had their numbers.
Right.
But, and he also said science is being used to explain fate. Mm-hmm. Because it was 2 different people on the island. It was people of faith and the people of science.
He said Richard was a man of faith, right?
Richard was a man of faith, and Jacob had to explain it. And Jacob was a man of science, so he had to explain it to him in parable sense, in a way that he would understand. When he meant, when he used life or death, that was a faith reference. So that was on the last one.
Yep. So let's know if you guys thought of that one. Don't forget to like, share, comment, subscribe.
Y'all making my brain hurt.
We love y'all.
Love you guys. Bye.